This episode of After Dark is brought to you by Audible. For a free 30-day trial as well as free audiobook, head on over to audible.com/gamebreaker. Welcome to After Dark, the live Twitter show that you guys tweet into to get your questions answered. We're having some technical difficulties tonight, but we wanted to go ahead and still do the show anyway. So tonight we are taking all of your guys' questions over on Twitter. Joining me like they do every week, Mr. Kitty Cat himself, Mike Burke.
How are you, Mr. Shaftney? It is good to talk to you.
I can't put up your lower third. Otherwise, I cover the cat. That's what we really wanted to have here. I didn't want to tell you. We really just wanted your cat to come on today's show.
I agree. She's awesome.
Your Whisper's opinion.
You really gotta go. Go.
And as well, we also got Zach Schultz, also known as Kiggles. Who looks to be maybe
the polar
suffering.
vortex is coming.
Oh, good.
Save yourselves.
Wait, do you guys have another polar vortex that's coming your way? Really? What's it supposed to get down to now?
It's not going to be as bad as as Polar Vortex Part 1.
Oh, well then stop complaining.
Oh, you know what? You should shut the fuck up. You live in 70-degree weather, okay?
No. 80-degree weather. Get it right.
Oh, I'm sorry, Mr. Bronze.
We're throwing out the shots early.
Yeah.
All right, well, like I said, we are unfortunately having some technical issues where we can't answer any caller questions tonight, but we are taking questions over on Twitter, and if we get to the end of our list, maybe we'll take some extra questions, so feel free to tweet us with the hashtag GBAfterDark. So first up, Thadris asks...
Damn, just jumping right into the question.
Just right into it. Now, assuming it's dying, I almost read that, now assuming it's dying. I almost put words in Thadris' mouth. Inject my own opinion there. No, I'm kidding. What do you guys think could bring save? What do you think could bring save? Yeah, that's what it says. That's not just me. That's just not my illiteracy there. That is on paper.
What do you
Am I the only one that finds it ironic that you stumbled on the word illiteracy?
So,
it's not my fault I've got an illiteracy. It's not my fault I can't read.
So what do you guys think here? Obviously, Nintendo has released some...
What is this? A center for Eds?
It needs to be at least 4 times this size. Nintendo's released a little bit. I don't have the whole entire thing here, but they've released some scary projections here of their wonderful.
You don't even have
forecast.
to read numbers. You don't even have to be. You could be Mike Shaftnet, and this graph is ugly. Like you don't even have to be able to read.
I see purple. I see a big purple or pink, and it's going down, and then it goes into a negative. That can't be good. And then maybe just a little bit, and then back down to negative.
Yes, you don't even need to do the readings. You just look at the lines, and they're not pretty. Yeah, I mean, obviously, the viewer's right. Nintendo's not closing tomorrow, nor I don't think any of us are saying that they're going to close tomorrow. But there are concerns long-term as far as their current hardware and software portfolio, particularly the Wii U. And the 3DS is, while still doing well, still dominating the handheld market, obviously, it's not doing as well as they originally forecasted by quite a bit. So there's still some concerns there that they forecasted it much higher, and it's not going to make that. I saw somebody in chat say something that could help is release Nintendo games on Steam. That's certainly a viable option. Also, they're looking a little more. GameBreaker had a story today about them looking a little more into the mobile side of things and even making an Android-based tablet for education. That's other kinds of things. I think a big factor here is China, right? Earlier this month, the 14, 15, whatever it is, year ban on consoles was lifted. Now it still can be appealed and put back in place, but it's generally thought that release of that ban is going to stay, which now puts a lot of people, billion plus in the market for Nintendo, Sony, and Microsoft. That's a huge opportunity if any of those three companies are willing to take the gamble right now, because there are some unusual rules in play on how you can sell your systems in China.
Are you kidding me? You wouldn't take that gamble for a million,
Not yet.
a potential billion people?
Not yet. And Nintendo may. They have the most to gain here. I think Sony and Microsoft will probably hold a little bit, but then end up going in there. There's two big pieces of that right now, Kiggles, that are going to make the big companies shy back just for a little while things get sorted out. One, the ban could still be put back in place. There's still some legal proceedings that have to finalize before the ban is totally going away. Two, they're putting in rules right now, at least, is that you have to manufacture them in specific places to meet these trade agreements. So there's stipulations that would require Nintendo, Sony, Microsoft to change the way they manufacture, even though they're already manufacturing in China, and where they do it. So there's a little bit of consideration that they need to wait for. But Nintendo probably wants to jump on this faster than the other three because they have the most to gain and are in the worst position of the three right at the moment.
Now, this obviously won't apply to the Wii U, but could a problem right now, one of the dominating factors in Nintendo, and they even feel this, has been their, as you said, Burn, their handheld market. They had such a huge monopoly on it because they were just the best system. It was affordable. But now the problem is we've started to step into that next generation of mobile games. Everybody has a smartphone nowadays. Not everybody, but most everybody has a smartphone nowadays with an app store that has downloadable games to have access. So Nintendo is now not only losing business to Microsoft and Xbox, you almost have to consider the fact that Nintendo's losing business to Apple and Android as well.
Yeah. And they made comments years ago, you'll never see a Mario Kart game on your smartphone and stuff like that. Again, if you haven't read the article on GameBreaker, it was a very good article. Go take a look at it. And I think now we're seeing that, now they're considering that. What could a Zelda smartphone game potentially look like? How would that sell? How would it do? Are you telling me that if they put a Zelda game together for $9.99 for your tablet or smartphone, that you, Shaftnit, wouldn't buy it?
They could put every Zelda game ever out on the tablet and I would buy it. Release it on the eShop already because I'm trying to make the ultimate Zelda machine. But no, they don't want to release Majora's Mask. They don't want to release Four Swords. They want to release it as a 25th anniversary and then put it in the vault so you can never download it again.
Yeah, it doesn't even have to be a new Zelda. Put out, like you're talking about, re-release the old Zeldas that you could play on your iPad. I'd buy them in a heartbeat. So would you. Kiggles probably would too. Abyssalis in chat also brings up a good point with the whole China thing. Is that although the consoles are being allowed in, the games are still going to be heavily censored and/or banned based on things. You're not going to see GTA 5 in its United States and European forms in China. Which company out of the three benefits the most from having games banned? Nintendo, right? Because Nintendo's Wii and Wii U are predominantly family-based systems anyway. Yes, there are mature titles there, but not nearly to the extent as its competitors. It's a huge chance and Nintendo needs to move into it, and then you said it, the smartphones is the obvious one, which they're already saying we're looking at right now.
How do you think, obviously, maybe looking at it in terms of a business platform of putting emulators on it so that smartphones can play, do you think that they will embrace it to the point as their release platform? Will they let go of the idea of their handheld console mobile gaming platform and just simply decide that, you know what, we're going to develop for the smartphones?
Ooh.
I mean, the 3DS is still doing great. But
yeah, I have a hard time saying no. I mean, the 3DS has such a stranglehold. I have a hard time saying yes. I mean, the 3DS has such a stranglehold on the market that, yeah, maybe they forecasted it high, but it's still doing really, really, really well. Just not as well as they had hoped. I don't think we're going to see Nintendo abandon handhelds anytime soon. All it takes is throw a handheld out there and slap it with a Pokemon title, and it's going to sell. And God help them, God help them if they decide, hey, you know what? We're losing a little bit of money. Let's make the Pokemon MMO, right? Throw that bitch out there, and all of a sudden those pink lines are going the other way. There's a lot Nintendo can do here, but I can't see them abandoning handhelds and just going the smartphone route. I think we do see a 3DS successor and probably another one after that before it's exclusively smartphone and iPad and Android and all that.
Have they done what am I asking? Oh, have they done have they done a Pokemon online card game yet? Have they done that? I don't know. I'm asking this question. I don't know, because that would be something. You look at what Hearthstone's doing and look at Magic Online and see if they can adapt the Pokemon trading cards to an online client.
Oh, okay, I missed the second part of that. I was like, I was kind of stunned in disbelief. I was like, I only heard, have they made a Pokemon card game yet? And I was like,
no, I used to play that when I was
around in the 90s.
That's how I got started in Magic.
Okay,
well, they have. Someone's telling me they have. So
it's a gateway one. It's a nice. I mean, possible, but that's not. I don't think that's. Is Nintendo? Is Pokemon a Nintendo own? It's not. It's their own entity. So why wouldn't? I think if that was the route they were going to go, the Pokemon. Higher. I don't know who's above. Like who?
Yeah, I mean, there's licensing involved. Yeah, obviously Nintendo isn't the primary on it. I'm speaking from a software base on what would help sell units. It doesn't matter. You create a new handheld and throw a Pokemon with it. It's going, or Pokemans or Pokemans. It's going to help sell Nintendo units. So Nintendo's certainly invested in new titles down the road there. No, I wasn't. Whoa. If you thought I was implying Nintendo made that, no, I was not. I apologize.
What would you guys say though to a lot of people saying the argument? Nintendo has lacked the release of its staple titles. The Wii U's been out, what, year, 2 years? Almost coming on 3, I think. Coming on its 3rd year, if I'm not mistaken. And we're just now getting, like, Super Smash Brothers. We haven't seen a Zelda. The Marios are doing okay, but...
Besides a remake, an HD remake of a previously existing Zelda.
Right. We're just not seeing... I mean... Nintendo, I don't think has ever been that. Well, I don't know, because Nintendo was the competitor. Think back generations ago. Super Nintendo was the rival to Genesis, and I can't remember what else was out in that era. But like Nintendo 64 rivaled PlayStation at the time, and then the GameCube is kind of where they fell into the underneath, like no one talks about little brother that no one you bought for specific games, but you're kind of laughed at your friends if they owned a GameCube and didn't have a PlayStation 2 or an Xbox.
Yeah, the GameCube. You're absolutely right. The GameCube was the system you played when you were done playing your PlayStation or your Xbox for the day, or the system you played because the new Zelda was out, because the new Super Smash Brothers was out, because the new Mario was out, because the new Metroid was out. It wasn't in most cases it wasn't the only system you owned.
So why? I'm not Nintendo. In case you guys didn't know, I'm not the one in charge of Nintendo. I know everybody was thinking that. I need to clear that air. Why haven't they released these titles? Why haven't they come out of the gate with them? Why are they holding on to them? Some would say that maybe they were trying to wait for the next generation of consoles so that they had the Zeldas and the Metroids and all these other games to rival once the new consoles came out. And they were trying to get an early foothold. But I think the problem is they released early and they lost their ability to gain traction when there was not really, a level of competition for next gen, even though I don't think Wii U was even considered next gen because it was just finally becoming HD.
Yeah, I mean, excuse me. I can't answer the question of why didn't they do it earlier, especially like you said when Wii U was first launching, slap a couple, first parties with it that people are going to want. But looking at it now and maybe over the last fiscal quarter and a half, thinking that you were going to sell 9 million Wii U units, units between April of last year, March of this year, and actually now forecasting 2.8 million is a pretty big number. And they've seen internally, they've seen that number coming for quite some time, right? So that kind of tells you, do we really want to put, because those games, because they're iconic, they have huge budgets. Do we really want to put that kind of budget behind something that doesn't have a lot of people for us to sell it to? Not a lot of people have the damn system for us to play. I think now, yes,
but that's
there's
the
certainly
thing.
the argument of wait until the next system at this point. Why they didn't do it, a year and a half, 2 years ago, I don't know. I don't know. It made sense to do it then.
You're saying they might have held off because they wanted to see if the console would sell before they invest the production time?
No. I'm saying I don't know why they held off back then. I'm saying that now, within like the last 3 months, knowing the sales results, you probably look at it and you hold off now, looking at the results.
If I have to hold off for
but
Zelda
the way you were,
any longer than I already have,
what you were talking about 2 years ago, I have no idea why they held off then. They're titles that were not only guaranteed to sell, but would have moved units too. Not just software units, but hardware units.
Well, here's the thing, is that PlayStation and Xbox have become just much more than gaming consoles. I mean, yes, they play games, and that's what they're known for, but they also have, they have the online stores, they have the functionality for Netflix and, like, web browsing and all that stuff. Whereas when I think of Nintendo, I just think of it as this one-dimensional gaming system, which is so stuck in the 90s and 80s of gaming systems, whereas gaming systems now are moving towards being diverse, not just gaming systems, but just platforms for doing whatever the hell you want, online, offline. And I feel like if you're not going to have the Nintendo staple games to back up the system, then you better have the functionality to do other things. And they just got caught in the middle in no man's land.
Yeah, you're definitely right. That's a great point that hasn't even been mentioned yet, is that Nintendo can't get internet right. As far as playing with your friends and playing online, it's a mess. Just the whole avatar system is ugly, let alone the actual games themselves. So definitely a great point.
All right, let's move on. Next question comes in from Erica Rain.
What's up, Erica?
Hearthstone hit open beta today. How long until we see Blizzard Heroes? Typical internet. You finally get something, you can't be happy. You're like, oh, I've had beta now for months. When's Blizz Heroes coming out? No, I mean, that's all right. So what do you guys think is a reasonable launch window? I believe we heard at BlizzCon there was a chance for it to come out early this year, like first quarter of season or of 2014. Now, the one thing I'll say before I throw this out there, I do think that I remember Blizzard saying that their development teams are entirely independent. They're not working together. They very well could have been lying here, but they claim that they're not dependent on each other of when they release certain versions. Now, so basically saying that because, we could see Blizzard Heroes tomorrow, even though we just saw the open beta of Hearthstone. That's what Blizzard has claimed. Do I think that they're honestly doing that from a marketing standpoint? Hell no. Do I think that we'll see beta for Warlords of Draenor soon? Yes, probably within the next couple months. We'll see an open beta for press, or not an open beta, a closed beta for press.
They better.
And that will start within the next couple months. Most people would say it will end up around WildStar time, or Elder Scrolls launch date. But I don't think we're going to wait. I don't think they're going to wait for Warlords of Draenor to release a beta for Heroes of the Storm. They just can't. They can't wait more than 3 months. And maybe we'll get it next month. If we're following that kind of schedule where they're trying to keep people involved into their different IPs. What do you guys think?
This is a MOBA. I don't know. Who cares?
Burn, roll,
No,
Pickles, what?
I'm gonna play it. It looks fun, but tomorrow, I don't know. It's Blizzard. Who knows?
Soon, TM. What's up, Pickles?
Yeah, soon. Right. Oh, Blizzard soon. TM. I'm so surprised at that. It better be this year. They have to capitalize off this. Yeah, it has to be. And Warlords of Draenor better be out by the end of this year, or I am going to be fucking pissed. Okay, I don't want to have to wait.
Warlords of Draenor is not going to be out this year.
I don't want to have to wait 3.5 years for the next expansion. Like I did.
You got at least. I'm telling you right now, you have at least until August, September for Warlords of Draenor. That's my forecast. August, September, if not later. If not later, that's my guess.
Losing some money then, at least for me, because I am not. Well, I don't pay for my subscription anyway anymore. But that's so long. Why do they do this? It's always this extended period after the last tier of content, and they shoot themselves in the foot.
I don't know if you know this. An entire expansion is not the size of the Siege of Orgrimmar. So the 2 months that they made Siege of Orgrimmar, they're gonna need a little bit more time than 2 months to create an entire expansion.
Oh please!
I hear you on the fact that
I know this has nothing to do with the Twitch question, but or the Twitter question? Do you really think Draenor is August, September, Shaftnet?
Absolutely.
Wow.
Hands down. Because here's what I've said on Legendary, and this was before we've gotten to this point now. At BlizzCon, their attitude during some of the press interviews were, are we going to get a next patch? And they were pretty much said, no, we're not planning any more content patches for Mists of Pandaria. Then they said, well, what about the end expansion lull? How is that going to end up? And they said, how is that going to blow over with fans when you've been releasing content so frequently? And they basically said, well, oh no, it's happened every other time. People understand then, and they're going to understand this time. It's just the way it has to be. That's pretty much the attitude that they had. So they were expecting a very long intermittent before. Now,
I'm sorry, but if they expect me to pay for that expansion, and then they expect me to pay more money to get that fucking 90, which I'm not going to do because I already have 1 million of them, it better come out yesterday. I'm sorry.
All right, so here's the other problem. Mists of Pandaria beta started, I think, January, February. I remember it came out early. No, I think it was even before that. It started, let's see, BlizzCon. BlizzCon was in November, and they said that by pre-ordering, you got access. And if I'm not mistaken, beta started around January, February. I could be wrong, but somewhere around that time. It took an entire year of beta testing. And yeah, Blizzard is Blizzard. Their beta tests aren't really beta tests. But if you think we don't have the beta right now for Warlords of Draenor. So if you think that they're going to release the press beta for Warlords of Draenor this month, next month, and think that they're going to ship the game 3-4 months later, you're dead wrong. It is easily going to last.
I'm saying that's exactly what I'm saying, is they need to get on this. This needs to get out, dude.
Yeah, Shaftna, I mean, you kind of got the dates wrong, but the overall thing right. Wow, I didn't realize. It's been a while, I guess. So beta started, announcement went out on March 21st for Pandaria. That's when the annual pass holders, press, fan sites, friends and family, all those guys got into World of Warcraft Pandaria beta. And then launch was September 25, a 6-month window. So that puts it, if beta started tomorrow, sticking with that same timeline, you're right. That puts it at the end of July as the launch. And that's if beta started tomorrow and they stuck to the same 6-month timeline. I didn't even put the math together. Just July, August seems so far away to me in conjunction with when Siege came out, but it's hard to argue with your logic, man. It's sound.
And
sound, Shaftnet. I am impressed. I am like, damn. You've done good.
The one other thing is that they've announced another PvP season, and those seasons typically last 15, 16 weeks.
Where's my door? Oh, it's right there. I'll be right back. You keep talking about PvP. I'm gonna go play with my door over here.
I'm just saying that it's not gonna happen, and it sucks. It sucks for everyone out there. But do not hold your breath. Warlords of Draenor is not coming until earliest end of July, and that is
I
being
know.
generous.
I just wanted to bitch about it. Please, have we met? Let's get back to the original question, though.
So,
the thing
okay.
is,
still can't go end of July. Damn, I just can't. I can't
no
argue
way.
with you at all. Like, I agree with the logic. It would be odd if they had a beta as long as Pandaria, because Pandaria's beta was forever long. But it's hard to argue with that logic. It's hard to argue with the PvP season logic. It's hard to. I just can't see them going that long. That allows Elder Scrolls Online, which you already have a signed-up release date for, WildStar, EverQuest Landmark. That allows so much to get in there and really grab footholds for a month, 2 months, 3 months, 4 months before you put out this expansion. I have to believe that this is a May-June thing. But if they stick to the beta period you point out for Pandaria, you're probably right. But I'm just going to say May-June to be different than you. Because I can't agree with Shafnet. It would just break the show.
Could you in that light then maybe take the side of, and I get what you're saying, Elder Scrolls, WildStar, all these things are MMOs, they're other games or not, but could you maybe get behind the idea that maybe World of Warcraft isn't their only thing that they're doing anymore? And yeah, maybe it's their largest, but maybe they think that between Hearthstone and Warlords, or Heroes of the Storm, the Diablo expansion, which I don't know if anyone really cares about. I know there are people out there that care about it. I don't. Do you think that maybe they think that they can hold out? They can let those, maybe this is going real far. I'm not trying to say this to get on Blizzard's bad side, but maybe they're cocky. Maybe they're simply like, you know what? Since we've become king, there have been many MMOs that have come along, and not a single one of them has been able to capitalize or capture that feeling that we bring. So let them go. Let them go to these other MMOs.
I think there's a problem with that argument, though. No single game has taken World of Warcraft down, but combined, they have all funneled groups of players in different areas to the tune of once 12 million, now 7 million. And that's not even mentioning that WoW is certainly doing a lot of that to themselves, too. Especially if they let this ride till July, August. Are you out of your mind? That number will be 5. And yes, they have other games, that 5 million. They have other games in their portfolio. You know, there'll only be 5.
5 players in the entire World of Warcraft. Can't 20-man raid anymore because we only got 5 players. Guess we can only do dungeons.
Server merge. Everybody's on their own server. No, but if they wait that long, the number's going to sink. And yes, they have other games in their portfolio, but WoW is the guaranteed monthly income, brother. It's the guaranteed monthly monies. Yes, it's nice to sell Diablo boxes, but it's nicer to get 7+ million worth of subscriptions, not counting that China doesn't pay a subscription. I know, but it's nice to get that subscription money, and I don't see them. It's got to be earlier than that, Shaft, and I can't agree with you.
It's not.
Yeah, and can we get back to the original question though?
What was it?
It was now that Hearthstone is out. When can we expect Heroes? And
I said tomorrow.
Right, but there's a fallacy in that question. Is that we have to remember that Hearthstone was a pet project. It wasn't a planned thing. And maybe it was, but it was pretty much 2 people working on it, wasn't it, at the beginning? And so I think we have to take Hearthstone out of the equation when we're talking about Blizzard releasing and all this stuff, because it's releasing at its own pace, in my opinion. And so I have to agree with Byrne. They need to get that thing out there. They need a beta next month.
What is going on with this show?
The thing is,
I'm changing things just so I don't have to agree with Shaftnet because I'm afraid he's right, and then you're agreeing with me. This is just broken. Shaftnet broke all of it this week.
We've been together for far too long. We're turning into the same person.
I think you're right though. So they said Q1 2014 is the Heroes launch window. I think next month has some ground. We've seen they released the video around Christmas time where it was just a match and they were like, hey, go shoutcast with your friends. And then I think, I don't know if it was today or tomorrow. I know they've got like a big developer Q&A coming up, and then as well as another match. They're doing what they can to kind of get the people around it. I think you're right though. I think that we'll see Heroes of the Storm beta next month or March. I think that's fair to say. I can't agree with you, Burn. It's not going to come out. They're not going to come out tomorrow and be like, you know what? Blizzard Heroes, here we go.
He's going to say next month or March
or April.
Possibly April or May. I'm just saying. It could
maybe there's an outside chance.
That window.
Maybe June.
Outside chance June. Not really factoring that in there, but it's an outside chance.
And then if it doesn't happen in June, then it's got to be August, September-ish. But that's just best case scenario. Because September, October, and then there's November.
But then
don't forget about the Christmas release. Think about how hot this game is going to be at Christmas, Burn.
If you wait that long, you might as well make it a Christmas release. That's December, but then you could have January 2015 sales. So, sometime in the next 12 months is what I'm going to settle
on. All right, let's go ahead and,
so we're back to soon TM. There's your answer.
Pretty much.
Dedenstein over on Twitter asks, your views on buying 90s in WoW. Let's just apply this to the idea. Let's apply this to the idea of buying max level characters. Let's not isolate this to WoW.
Shit.
Kegels has some stuff to say, clearly. So, Kegels, you don't like it. How come?
I wonder how he feels.
No, I really don't like it. I don't agree with it. No. I'm not paying for 90s. I'm sorry.
Why?
No.
But now you're just talking on the principle that you wouldn't.
Yes.
Let's talk about the principle. Okay, Burn. Hang on real quick, since we got on there. Burn.
He's like, fuck this, I ain't buying it.
Burn, would you or would you not buy a 90?
Okay, buying a 90 specifically in
buy max level character.
Buy a max level in World of Warcraft or other subscription-based game, no. I don't really see a problem with giving people the option to do that, particularly in some older free-to-play games. EverQuest 2, they just recently did that, right, where you could buy a champion in EQ2. And I think that's good for a game that old, that the people that have stuck with it and are max level and are like, man, it would be nice to have more players here. More people in our guild or whatever, people joining, but it takes a year and a half to start EQ2 and start working your way up through the 900 expansion packs that it has to get to the level cap. That's a nice option. Even for just a free-to-play game to say, hey, look, if you don't want to do this, we will. I don't know if I would buy it, but I don't have a problem with them being sold. In a subscription-based game, I can understand World of Warcraft doing we'll give you one free 90 for, if it could be a character that you already have. You can bounce them up. Yeah, I do realize that EQ2 and WoW are almost the exact same age, but EQ2 doesn't carry a required subscription to play it, is the point. I have a problem with that. Don't ask me to buy something like that in a game I'm already paying to play. Give me some way to obtain that token that gives me that ability in game, as well as pay you for it, and I'm okay. If it's buy only, no, I don't like it.
And I think I think the idea of letting the system be in the game is great. I think that if it was, hey, buy a level 100, there's a big problem there. But especially like Burn, what you were saying with WoW, you've got friends that have maybe played in the past, maybe new people who have thought about trying it. I am an incredibly selfish MMO player. You want to come play World of Warcraft with me? Great. Get your ass to 90, because I don't want to come back and help you. Now, I might help you occasionally, but I really don't want to. So, by offering this to players like this, it's easier to entice previous or new people. Hey, want to come play this game? Cool. Buy it. Boom. You're level 90. You can, and as we get closer to the expansion, as people get excited about what's new to come, having the idea of, guess what, you can come play this game with me. It's really great. Or hey, come back and play World of Warcraft with me. New expansion coming out. Let's play it together. there's always that feeling of like, oh, I don't want to have to level from, I stopped it in Burning Crusade. I don't want to have to level from 70 or new game. I don't want to have to level all the way to max level to start experiencing this new content. Allowing the system to get you to the start of what's new and fresh, I think is an okay system to have. Now, would I buy one? Probably not. But I also don't like playing alts, so that's just me.
I'm sorry, but no. I don't know. It's just totally, you're gonna make them buy the expansion, all right? And then you're gonna say, oh, you want to start playing that right now? Okay, give me $10 more on top of the 15 that you're already paying.
You don't have to, though. That's the thing. 90. You don't have to. Why do people not? We talked about this on Legendary. They're not forcing you to buy a 90. You don't have to.
Yeah, and I'm not arguing that they shouldn't sell this. I mean, this goes back to the whole, should Blizzard have sold mounts? Well, apparently, yes, because we buy them. You know, argue against it as much as you want, but they're making money. They wouldn't do it if they didn't make money. I'm answering the simple question of, would I buy them? In a subscription-based game, no, I would not. I would just pay my subscription and do my thing to get up there. I'm not going to spend extra money to do that. In a free-to-play game, I might consider it, but in most cases, I probably still wouldn't do it. I'm not going to begrudge them, Blizzard, trying to make money on it, but I don't like the idea of being hit twice with the price, so I would never buy it as that option.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
And if you don't like it, don't buy it. They won't sell it anymore. I promise you. If enough people don't buy it, they won't sell it anymore.
I mean, if they were to give you one free to level 90 with the expansion, that would be great. And you know what? It would actually make them sell tons of them. But because it's $10 extra, they're still playing from this position of strength. And I know they're the biggest MMO out there, but they're trying to get people back in. But it's like, while they're trying to get back to the popularity that they were, they're also trying to nickel and dime you every single fucking part of the way. No. Fuck that shit.
All right, next up, let's take it to another Twitter question. I've lost track of time. We're almost out of time here. We've only gotten to 4 questions so far. Atramos had this to ask. He said, what are your thoughts on the recent news of Microsoft paying off Machinima and its channels for positive press? This gets into, now I don't know if this is true or not. I'm gonna disclaimer this whole conversation because I have no factual evidence to say if this is true or not. If this was true, what do you guys think? Because this is kind of what we talked about when we were talking about the VGXs and about how, well, maybe not. I was gonna say how advertisers deal with game trailers and game trailers not wanting to pay the money to game trailers to promote their trailer. It's kind of the same thing because the games want good reviews, so they're going to give money to the people who are giving them good reviews. Here's what I would say about this, and this goes off on a little bit of a tangent. I promise you, I can't give you too many details, but I can promise you that if this doesn't happen, game developers are going to get wise, and they're going to start doing things to create. Now, Machinima is a little bit of a different situation because Machinima is its own channel. It built its brand. But if you don't think video game companies are stealthily, finding ways to advertise and finding ways to build channels and build content to push a secret agenda, I promise you, you're dead wrong. I can't go into details. I literally can't. But it is just the way capitalism works. So what do you guys think about paying off game sites?
Where's my money? Riot.
Right?
Riot. if anything, they owe you a fortune, dude.
Yeah. Paid so much money for those goddamn skins. Okay. Well, someone said.
Yeah, but if it works the other way, I think you owe the money to Blizzard too. So Riot pays you, and you got to send it to Blizzard the way you've bashed them lately.
Well, they deserve it. Okay, so someone said in chat that they were doing it for ad time. If they're paying for ad time, great. That's fine. That's great. But here's the thing. You're paying for ad time. You're not paying for the opinions. And that's the thing. If they aren't allowed to freely express their opinions, then this shit's all fucked up. And I am not going, then it's a tainted well thing. You're not going to, I'm going to take everything they say on Machinima with a grain of salt if they're getting paid to say things for that. That's totally just, I don't know. It's just so contrary to what the internet is supposed to be.
But I think we can't be lost. We can't be lost in the ideas of the way that things used to be in the past. Otherwise, League of Legends would never be able to make the jump to esports. There's something to be said for advertising. We have game advertisers on this site.
No, advertising
that doesn't necessarily mean that they're paying us off to say good things about it, but they are advertising with us.
Okay, hold on. From what I understood, and maybe I'm incorrect here, but I don't believe, from everything I've read on this and seen on it, and I've listened to TB's take on the whole thing, somebody I admire quite a bit when it comes to topics like these, whether you like his content or not. He's a very, very smart individual when it comes to this stuff. I don't think Microsoft, if I'm right, was paying for good speech. They were paying for not bad speech. So you could have, from my understanding, a totally neutral topic or content piece, and that was fine. It didn't have to be glowing about how awesome the Xbox One is. So there's a little bit of difference between paying for good and not paying for bad.
And I want to break this to everyone out there.
That
what you just mentioned,
that is such a fine line.
What he just mentioned,
it's not a fine line at all.
It's brand integration.
At all.
It's not. That's advertising.
It's not a fine line at all. Kiggles, if I pay you money and make you say good things about me, or you know that I'm a shoplifter and I say, hey, you can say whatever you want about me, but I'm going to give you $20 just to not say that I'm a shoplifter. There's a huge difference in that. I'm paying for good press, or I'm paying to keep the bad out of it. Also, this has been going on for a long time. Microsoft just happens to be the one that got caught. And Microsoft did go out on this one to I think it was today or maybe yesterday, and said, we have asked Machinima to not post any additional Xbox One content as part of this media buy. And we've asked them to add disclaimers to the videos that were part of this programming, indicating that they were part of paid advertising. And I'm totally... My thing is, I want, as a gamer and somebody that absorbs this content for enjoyment as well, I want to know that the opinions I'm watching from people who are supposedly giving me their unbiased opinion are exactly that, unbiased. I don't even care if Microsoft is paying you to do this review. I can, as a viewer,
well, now,
I am intelligent enough to realize that maybe Shaftnit skewed a little bit because Microsoft is paying him. That's fine.
But Burn,
just
how do
tell
you
me up front that they're paying me.
But we as the viewer, because this is something that also TB talked about. We as the viewer maybe don't know that. Microsoft has approached you and asked you to, hey, we want you to play, I don't know, any Xbox games at the moment. We want you to play Halo 10, and do a review on it. But you can't say any bad things about us. But you can say whatever you want. Here's the advertising money. Go. That's kind of what we've said. And that's what the situation is.
That's not a review. That's propaganda.
No, and that's my point. Is I disagree with what you're saying. I totally agree with Shaftnit. Is I need to know that this was funded by so-and-so. It's like your political offices. You want to know who's supporting those candidates. It's the same thing here. If you're going to be bought by Halo 10 for a review, well, okay, give me the fact that Halo 10 paid me to do this interview, provided me with a free copy of the game. And I'm going to take that into account as a viewer. I'm intelligent enough to do that. My problem is exactly what you pointed out, Shaftnit. If I don't have access to that knowledge, then yeah, I feel like this is being really, really sneaky. But I also realize it's been going on for years and years and years, and will continue to go on for years and years and years.
Still doesn't make it right.
I didn't know. I totally agree. You're absolutely right.
All right, let's take one more question, and we will call it a day here. So, here, this is
give me something good. Question. Give me something good, baby.
Something good. Well, this was a quick, easy one, but here, we'll go here. I didn't even proofread this one. What will take for this year's new MMOs to go free to play, especially after SWTOR's revenue numbers for 2013? You made me panic, and I looked for the first one I could find.
That was, you are just, this is why you're in bronze. You just do not do well under pressure, honey.
You know what? I can only work with the questions I'm given. All right. Let's ask the question, and
Star Wars did do well,
answer the question.
Revenue-wise. So yeah, I can see where this is coming from. So I guess this kind of focuses on 3 games, right? Mainly Final Fantasy XIV, Elder Scrolls Online, and WildStar. Unless I'm missing one that's going to be sub-based.
Hey, just because I said Warlords of Draenor isn't coming out until late this year doesn't mean it's not coming out this year, Burn.
That's not going free to play. Final Fantasy XIV. As much as Yoshi P has said time and time again that he would rather the game shut down than it go free to play. Being the producer, director, and only one man in the whole cog of Square Enix probably means he has very little say in the game actually shutting down instead of going free to play. However, Final Fantasy XI has lasted with about 200,000 or less subscribers in a lot of cases for 11 years. For Final Fantasy XIV to go free to play, I think subs would have to dip sub Final Fantasy XI sub numbers, and so that would be talking about the 200,000 mark, and stay there for a little while with no reason for them to think that it will grow. WildStar, I don't think is going to have to go free to play for a while because they've got that whole secondary system, kind of like Eve does. If they can play that one right, they can stave off free to play for a while. Elder Scrolls is the one that I can see going free to play really fast. And it's just because they haven't been coy about it. They've said, we're going to go with a sub and we're going to set up other things for you to be able to buy, even though initially they'll just be cosmetic and stuff like that. I can see that one going buy to play or free to play pretty quickly if it doesn't grab a lot of people early in its life cycle. That's where I see it.
Kiggles, what do you think? Do you think that any of these have a good chance at this point of going free to play in 2013 based on their models, or have they set themselves up to at least get through this year?
Who cares?
Mike,
do we have to pick? Do we have to pick if it's going to go free this year? In that case, Final Fantasy XIV, no. WildStar, no. Elder Scroll, probably.
Mike Bernie, give all of them right down there at MagicMan1. 2 N's and a 1. Be sure to catch them all over here. GameBreaker, Final Fantasy, Reborn. Gosh, Twemo. Just shows.
The shows.
Just shows.
Just come and see
the peanut butter and the shows. That was my really bad Bill. Yeah, that's my really bad Bill Cosby impression. Zach Schultz, you can follow him right down there at the Zach Schultz. Be sure to catch him each and every week right here on After Dark. Hear all of his great opinions involved with the Game Breaker Nation. Yell at him while he plays League. I don't know. Come by the Mumble. Hang out.
I might start streaming soon. Sorry.
Ooh. Well, there you go. You have your stream yet?
No, but it's Kigash. I'll probably be twitch.tv/Kigash, so.
Well, that says Kiggles, so that didn't work.
So soon, Tia.
Be sure to follow me down here at Mike Shafton and catch all of the things that I do over on the YouTube channel, All Nation TV. A wonderful, wonderful esports League of Legends news recap channel. If you guys like League of Legends, Riot is League, Riot is League, League is Riot. Wait, it's back. I don't know. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. We appreciate it. We apologize for the technical difficulties that we could not get to live callers tonight. Hopefully we'll have that all situated next week. And thank you guys so much for watching. We appreciate all of you guys who tuned in live. We'll see you next week.